Good evening. My name is Nishita Biswas and I am an undergraduate student currently pursuing English Honours in Ranibela Girls College, Kolkata. I welcome you to the stories of tribal identity and culture that will explore the role of cross-culturalization of tribal communities in shaping cultural identity and ideology curated under TMYS Review December 2024 in collaboration with Center for Asia Pacific Initiatives, University of Victoria. We are also calling for the submission of essays, poems, and short stories under the project. To know more about the submission guidelines and the project architecture, please visit www.tellmeyourstory.biz. This evening, I consider myself very privileged to be in company of our esteemed panelists, Dr. Sarmila Paul, Dr. Anil Kumar Mohapatra, Dr. N. Santha Naik, who will shortly share their views and insights with us. The topic for today's discussion is role of literary and artistic translation in cross-culturalization. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce our speakers. My first speaker is Dr. Anil Mohapatra. Dr. Anil Mohapatra is Professor of Political Science in Department of Social Science at Fakir Mohan University in Orissa, receiving two prestigious fellowships from British Council and Baden-Württemberg, Germany. He undertook research at the University of Oxford, England in 2012 and University of Heidelberg, Germany in 2013 respectively. He has published a book entitled Small States in South Asia, A Security Perspective of the Himalayan States 2008 and co-edited Federalism in India, Issues and Dimensions 2016. Dr. Mohapatra has published 9 chapters in books and 73 articles in print and electronic journals of repute. He has guided 7 scholars for PhD. It is a pleasure to have you with us this evening, Dr. Mohapatra. Thank you for joining us. As for our other speakers, Dr. Sarmila Paul and Dr. Santha Naik will join us shortly. And regretfully, our speaker, Mr. Kynpham Singh Nongkynrih, will be unable to join us this evening. So, starting with our panel, I would like to open the forum for Dr. Anil Mohapatra to share his views on the topic. So, over to you.
Uh, Thank you very much, Nishita, for this nice introduction. And actually, it's a very hot and humid day in Orissa, and uh, I'm very happy to share my story because you are asking to tell my story. So it's a kind of storytelling and sharing of one's experiences, and this is regarding the tribal feminism. And as you know that today feminism to call oneself or to assert oneself as a feminist is a fashion, because there are so many women issues, so many women are they facing difficulties, and there are many gender stories, gender violence, inequality. Then we are talking about forticide. Then we are talking about uh, domestic violence. So many issues are there, and today we are also talking about ecofeminism, and we are talking about cultural ecofeminism, social ecofeminism, or radical feminism, whatever you say. So all these are today we are discussing about women and women issues. And one thing that the all of us know, that this gender is a social construct, as if feminism or femininity is imposed on women by men. So the masculine has imposed its kind of structure construct on the women. So the women has to follow the gender stereotype and as prescribed or structured by men. So this is interesting that women issues are raised, women issues are getting included in the global discourse on women. But the story I'm going to share with you is regarding the tribal community, tribal women in Koraput. Koraput was undivided earlier, now it is divided. So when I studied this particular matter, it was in the year 2008. Since I have left Koraput, so that's why I could not able to be more in touch. But what I have gathered also today, I have updated today, the things are quite same, because it's not like a super moving, fast moving train. It is very very slow moving, just like a bullock cart, and culture is the same, and the modernity has not yet touched the tribals, who the pockets where they are staying. So here my point is that whenever we say that I am a feminist, I am a feminist because of my education. I am a feminist because of my compassion. I am a feminist because I am enlightened. I am a feminist because I feel compelled by my conscience, or by my education, by my by enlightenment. But thing is that the people of Koraput, the tribals of Koraput, who are practicing this tribal this feminism, it has come to them as a matter of habit. So they have internalized it. They know they don't know what they are doing, what they are practicing. Are they, should they be proud of that? Unknowingly they are the champions of feminism. They are the unknowing champions of feminism. Its principles are ingrained in their very culture. So they practice and follow feminism is a matter of habit that has come down to them from ages. So it is quite spontaneous and indigenous so far as the practice of feminism is concerned. So now, as you know, that the feminism, the theories, already we know that there are liberal feminists, there are social feminist, socialist feminist, there are radical feminist, there are even the new feminist, and post feminism is also there. But if you analyze, if you bring down all the very issues that we demand, that there must be women and men equality, equality between sexes, and all should have equal rights, all should have legally, socially, even personally, even sexually, even all matters, women and men, they must not be discriminated. But it is happening in the tribal society in Koraput, where I have studied three tribes. One is Bonda tribe, another is Saura tribe, another is Halwa tribe. So Halwa tribe is one of the very, if you compare these three, Halwa tribe, they are the education, they are somewhat educated. With regard to the Bonda tribe, the education has not reached them. Today I was also discussing about that there are other tribes also which are also almost similar, but the I'm focusing on the Bonda, Sora, and the uh, the uh, Halua tribe. Now, what I found during my study, that if you look at this tribal population, we will find that the sex ratio is almost, I mean, more than the male, the female is exceeds the male population. So this is one interesting observation. And another thing that you will find with regard to their culture, their practices, you will find that the men and women, there is no such distinction. If you look at the Bonda tribe, you will find. So you'll just ask me to know where are the Bondas. Where do they stay? They stay in the this Bonda Ghati, we call it. That means the Bonda forest, Bonda hills. It is now in Malkangiri district. There, actually, these tribes, the women, they have different practice. For example, the women there, the women who is older than men, they prefer to marry a younger man. That means the boy is younger to the woman. Then the question comes, why then the boy is interested? Because there is a dormitory system. In the dormitory system, what happens? Then you will ask in the case of Didai tribe also. I could not able to remember that name, recall that name. That is Didai tribe also. What happens, madam? In the tribal families, their home is quite it is just like one BHK, only one bedroom, everything is there, and adjacent to the room there is a room for the kettles, like all these the animals, they are domesticated. So this small room is not enough for their family. So they believe in giving birth to more children. Like our educated people, we are sticking to even two child norm or one child norm, but they don't have that norm. So they don't they feel that if they have more children, they can earn them their food, or they can help them economically. Anyway, the point I am saying, that the women, the children, after getting, after reaching an age, they will leave their house. They will stay in the dormitories. What is that dormitory? Dormitory is a kind of common meeting place, like that. There is a lobby in the hotel. Likewise, they have a dormitory. So the boys and girls, they will sleep together. Sleeping together doesn't mean that we must not take it otherwise. They all sleep together means all the boys and girls of the society, from the very small age till they get adulthood, they sleep together. That means they come in interaction with each other. They play, they play, they talk, they sing, everything. So gradually they develop a kind of, if they develop kind of love, they will marry each other. So now you see, as in our society, we have an eve teasing, we have some remarks, we have some ill intentions, we can see sexual intentions we can show, but in their case, since they from the very beginning they are friends, they never do that way. So among them who prefer to marry, they can marry. So in this case, what happens? A senior lady, older lady, proposes to marry a younger one, and the younger one, as a matter of practice, they get married. So now what happens? That that lady, why does she prefer? Because in the older age, the man will be earning her livelihood. He will provide economic support to her, and the man, now the woman is intelligent. So now women will guide the man. Whenever there is when he derails, he will set him right. So now it is a practice, it is there in Bonda tribe. So you will find the Bonda women, you may ask me, it is matriarchal. No, it's not a kind of matriarchal. They have respect. They have respect for the women, and the women dominates in the family, in a sense that they go together, they live together, they work together. And another thing, they consume wine, that is called the country liquor. They take, both of them take liquor, they dance together, they work together, because they, both of them will go to work, they will earn their livelihood, and they will consume alcohol, like that country wine. Then they will dance together. What I mean to say is that in our society, this is not happening. And whenever there is a child born, They never bother whether it's a male child or it's a female child. They never test it. They never test it. They only they only love to have children. They never discriminate between a male and a female. So that is a thing. And whenever there is a, as I said, they can also propose for marriage. They can also go for divorce. So marriage and divorce, it is very natural to them. And another thing, that whenever the husband dies, at that time there is a tradition, there is a practice called leviration. So when a husband dies, now the woman can marry the the younger brother of her husband. Similarly, the male person also can marry the sister of his wife, deceased wife. So this is a very unique practice there. And another thing, as I said, there are no such discrepancies. There is no such dowry practice in India. Uh, if you look at, the dowry is a kind of social evil. That, but there what happens? There is a bride price. Bride price means you have to pay for the bride. Sometimes what happens? There are many people who are interested in a lady, but they cannot provide. They can give the bride price. So therefore, they are discouraged. They cannot marry that woman. But what I'm trying to say, so that is there. But now you will ask me, so the men are being discriminated. Is it that the gender is in favor of gender discrimination, is against men? No, no, no. It is not a kind of that. But the practice is such that they do that way. So what I'm trying to say, they have that they dance together, they live together, they manage their family together. So all these. So now you will ask me, so what has happened after this Panchayat Raj? So after Panchayat Raj, there are in Odisha there are 50% reservation for women, and the tribal women also, they have the reservation. So now the tribal women, they never feel that they are superior to their men. So they join, they collaborate each other, they do that. And with regard to the self-help groups also, they also do the same thing. The women, they might have joined in a self-help group, but they are together. So, but you will ask me regarding this, whether the women are asserting, they're trying to assert their position. No, they never think of that. But in Halwa tribe, there is a there is a you know there are some there are some kind of women men discrimination. For example, the educated people, they sometimes they get the man, educated man, because he's getting a job, he's getting some position, some he can earn more. So that is why they sometimes the women are marginalized to some extent. But in the Bonda tribe, you will find the people, the male and female, they are not educated. Education has not reached them. The development, all these things, that has not reached them properly. But they are enjoying this equality, for which the feminists, we are crying and fighting. So this is how the human equality, the equality between two sexes, are practiced in such tribes in Koraput. But uh, the other thing you may ask me, that regarding their, as I said, the selection, the selection with regard to the selection of their partner, they are free. So thing is that the question now comes, whether is it because they don't have property? Is it that they are not educated? Is it that they are having the development has not reached them? Is it due to all these reasons they are feeling equal, or they as you know, Rousseau said once that the civilization is the culprit. Civilization has brought the evil practices. So what I'm trying to say, is it that what we say civilization, since that civilization is not present in the tribal community, are they unknowingly, naturally, they are feminists? But once we come to know, once we are educated, once we have property, once we have money, once we have commodious buildings, will we switch over to this gender discrimination? That we don't know. But to some extent, I found that in the Halwa tribe, where people are people are you know they are quite similar, they are imitative of the mainstream. There, to some extent, it is there. But in the tribe as I talked about, the Bonda tribe, people are really they are feminist, but without knowing that what feminism means. So I can say that these are interesting findings, and also in the Didai tribe. Today I was asking some of my students. She was saying that how these days there are many tribes. For example, the tribes, they never rely on police. They never rely on they rely on their chieftain. They are Naik. They called Naik. That means head. So now the head will decide everything for them. So the punishment is not that much. Whenever there is a sexual kind of uh, crime, there is an accusation. There are some little bit penalties on them. So their tribal society is very accommodative, very what do you say? Uh, they are uh, they are not like our society. So the crime rate or the atrocities on women, maybe domestic, maybe the maybe sexual, whatever. These are very rare in tribal society. So I think the story I used to share, I can during the question answer session, I can add more points to my story. Can I stop here, or I should go further?
That's all right, sir. Thank you so much for this insightful observation that you shared. And based on what you said, I think I will say that these tribes are more socially forward than what we call our civilized society to be.
Yes,
So
yes.
moving forward, I believe our other speakers would not be able to join us this evening. So let us move to the question and answer session. So, my first question to you is, how can increased global recognition of tribal women translate to tangible support for their development needs, such as access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities?
Yes, it's a very nice question. That, as you know, that we are living in a globalized society. We are getting globalized. So whatever is happening, we we can know immediately. So the globe is within the very tip of our finger. And I can cite you an example that when my article was published in the Scopus Index journal, now many calls I have received from many emails, many calls I have received from, one received from uh, Ireland, another from Sweden, another from India. Several calls, emails I have received from India. So now, so the when the tribal issues are reaching to the world, to the global platform, global discourse, now the tribal matter, tribal issue is getting global recognition. So now, once you are entering into the global discourse, what you will find that will lead to increased advocacy and support from the international organizations, governments, and non-governmental organizations, and also the private donors. So now, once you your issues may be something appreciable. Issues may be something deplorable. Take for example, they don't have access to health, they don't have adequate access to education, they are poverty stricken because they are still traditional in they are staying in the forest. Their economy is traditional economy. They are doing terrace culture. They are doing this shifting culture. So their economy is forest dependent economy. But now, once you are recognized, now you will find there are many funders, major funders. For example, there are funding agencies like World Bank, UN Development Program, UNDP, International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, bilateral aid agencies from countries like UK, Germany, and Japan. They are providing funds on different areas. For example, education, healthcare, sustainable livelihoods, forest rights, conservation, women empowerment. So the notable projects, I must point out, Jharkhand Tribal Development Project funded by World Bank, Odisha Tribal Empowerment and Livelihood Programs, IFAD, that means the International Fund for Agricultural Development, Tribal Development Plan and Ondor National Rural Livelihoods Project by World Bank. So all these fundings are coming. This is one advantage of once you are recognized by the world. The second thing, if there is a global recognition, your matter will be discussed, you will be appreciated. As I said, people are showing interest, they are visiting at least those places. So now there is a tribal tourism, it is developing. Then the second thing I must say, there is a policy impact. Once there is an international attention, international pressure is there, the government will definitely respond. So once the government will respond, take for example, I was talking to the Didai student of mine. He said, "Sir, today Didais are living in three places. One at the plains, in the hill areas, and the unreachable, inaccessible areas, or what we call Bichinnanchal. You can also understand in Bengali, that is Bichinnanchal. That means cut off areas. So the cut off areas people, they don't get anything. So if you highlight this issue, definitely the global people, the global donors will definitely, they will be encouraged. They will feel that they must provide some fundings to them so that there can be development. So the second thing I said, that is the policy impact. The third thing, that is by coming under this impact, the women will participate more actively in decision making process. Then the next one is, now with this global recognition, there is a drive for preserving and promoting the rich cultural heritage. Because if you look at a Bonda women, madam, you will find from the neck till navel, she is wearing ornaments. So the ornament is quite different. In the wrist, in the ankle, they have their ornaments. They have specially made. That is not available in Kolkata. That is not available in Bengaluru. So that is their indigenously built or indigenously designed ornaments. So the Bonda women, so they have their own cultural heritage, their own traditional learning. All these will be protected, promoted, unless if it is globally recognized, definitely that will be preserved. And the last one is, that is the economic empowerment. So whatever women are producing, those can be sold. So once the global, the if you find the people visiting those places from abroad, they are purchasing those things, the tribal artifact, tribal made things. So these are all indigenous things. But thing is that there are many pitfalls. If you misrepresent the fact, what will happen? So you will interfere in their life. So there, it should be properly represented so that you will never interfere. And another thing, the development should ask them. Development should not be imposed on them. So top-down approach should be avoided. So this is my response to the your question. Thank you, madam.
That was an excellent response, sir. Thank you so much. My second question to you is, where do you see the future of tribal feminism heading, both in terms of its evolution within the indigenous communities and the broader global society?
Look, madam, this tribal feminism, as you said, and I am also elaborating, the tribal feminism. What I said, that is not all inclusive. There are many tribes left. For example, in Orissa especially, we have 62 tribes. So it must be inclusive. A holistic tribal feminism should come up. This is my first observation. First, suggestion. Then the second thing, that is the tribal women's contribution to these indigenous traditions, their language, practices, ceremonies are to be recognized and valued. So, what are the tribal women contribution that is to be valued and recognized? Because if you look at this ecological feminism, where feminism, the women, the dominant exploitation of women, domination over environment are equated. So now, if you look at the tribal women, they are very sustainable. They are quite they're protecting their environment. So the environmental this ecofeminism, they are rather practicing it. So now my point is, I am afraid whether these feministic values would be sustainable once the civilization gets into it. If they are educated, if they have commodious buildings, if they have, if there are women employed in Bengaluru, I don't know what will happen. Since they are confined to a particular area, particular economic conditions, particular cultural conditions, they are maintaining that. So how far it is sustainable, the that is to be seen. And here, the global feminist discourse must look at that aspect, that whether the whatever the issues we are confronting with regard to women, is it due to the civilizational development, or it is only because of civilization it is happening, or in a very ignorant people where it is they are ignorant, they are poverty stricken, whether these what do you say, backwardness is a virtue. So we have to understand whether this forwardness is an evil and backwardness is a virtue. We have to look at, if we consider the evolution of feminism. Thank you, madam.
So, based on your answer, I have one thing to ask you. Do you believe that it is the civilization that is interfering in the path of feminism?
No, madam. What I am trying to say, that when all the entire civilization we are facing the women issues, but since the tribal people unknowingly they are feminists, they don't know they are feminists, but they are unknowingly they are feminists. So what I am trying to say, if at all they are civilized, if at all they have the development creeps into their place, I don't know what will happen. So that is a thing to be tested in future. That is a thing to be. So I am not accusing development. I don't know whether these people will also maintain the same thing once they are also developed. But thing is that they're not only indigenous, their feministic practices, values, ideals are also indigenous. So I think that may not be diluted.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the answer. My final question to you for this session is: what do you envision as the potential impact of continued efforts to depict tribal women's authenticity and respectfully in media on their development trajectories?
Some time ago, madam, I was saying that if there is a misrepresentation, as you said, authentic representation, that is good. If there is a misrepresentation, what will happen? So now people will talk about something, and they will be providing you something, but you will not get it. Take for example, in one tribal area, I found one thing that they have an altar kind of thing. Altar, that means that is the meeting place. So whenever a person dies, they bring one small stone from that graveyard, and they put it there in the meeting place. That means as if the meeting place represents the ancestor or the man who died. Now the government went there and it constructed a very concrete pandal. Now, what happened, madam? Now, the very idea, the very tradition that the meeting place is represented by their ancestors, their wisdom, now gone. So, what I'm trying to say, if you misrepresent the facts, now what will happen? That will intervene in their way of life and development. So, another thing, we must consult the tribals whenever we are thinking of any development plan. We are thinking we are developed people, so we say this is development, as the Western people say us. Indians are underdeveloped, so we have to follow Westernization. No, we may have some developmental practices. So their development should be bottom up. Then it must ensure their active participation in all stages of development. It must respect and incorporate their traditional knowledge and cultural practices. There must be a focus on building local capacities. So their capacity building should be there, promoting self-reliance. And it must promote intersectoral collaboration like health, education, livelihood, all should be, there it must be intersectoral collaboration. So I think all these, media exposures must bring benefit to the tribal people. They must be benefited. I think this is my understanding, madam. And I don't think any other panelists, whether they don't know about this.
No, sir. They do know about this, but regretfully, I think they are unable to join for some problems that they might be
Reasons. Okay,
facing.
okay. No, I'm not disputing, but thing is that whether
No,
they
sir.
don't know, I don't know. Okay.
No, they are aware. Maybe they are unable to join because of certain problems that they might be facing.
Yes,
But
yes.
this has been a rather delightful session, a discussion that I really loved. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this. So, with that, we come to an end of tonight's discussion. Unfortunately, we were the only two people that were present in this session. And I thank you for sharing your knowledge and valuable insights with us, sir. And
Thank you, madam.
I'm sure that our audience had a wonderful time and have learned a lot as well. We are grateful to you for taking out our time of your busy schedule and for being a part of this discussion. It was an absolute pleasure to have you with us. This is to
Thank
remind
you,
that we are
Nishita. Thank you
calling
very
for
much.
submission. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Nishita. Thank you.
This
Yes.
This is a reminder that we are calling for submission on cross culturalization of tribal communities, the details of which can be viewed on www.tellmeyourstory.biz. Good night, everyone.